guys, my name is Natalie and I'm a second year Doctor of Physical Therapy student at the University of Texas at El Paso, and I am so excited to be recording this video. I feel like it's been a long time in the making and it's been something that I've dreamt of doing, so I finally decided we're gonna sit down and we're gonna get to it. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about things I wish I knew before starting PT school. So I feel like the list goes on and on. I'm going to start with a little bit of a background story. I first wanted to become a physical therapist after going to physical therapy. The basic, I know. I ended up doing everything, going through undergrad, and I applied. I took a gap year between undergrad and PT school. I ended up getting accepted on my first time applying, yeah! Which I feel like not a lot of people do, or honestly, it kind of depends. Like some people yes, some people no. It really just depends on the strength of your application, I guess, and your timeline. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about things that I wish I knew before going into PT school, and just tips and tricks that I wish that I could give to like younger little Natalie starting off. Honestly, everyone's timeline is different. Everything is going to be different for everyone. You might struggle really a lot in one class and you might do really good in the other. It just kind of depends, and I don't think it's anything that you should be ashamed of, and I don't think that it's anything that like isn't normal. Like, you are gonna have classmates who are gonna struggle, and there are gonna be other classmates that they're gonna be getting their 12 hours of sleep at night, they're gonna be doing amazing, and it's just how it goes. Some people are wired differently than others. Some people only need to look at things one time, some people need to look at it 4 times. I am somewhere in the middle of that, where I can look at it like somewhere between like two to 3 times, and then it'll stick. Sometimes it will stick on the first time. It just kind of depends what it is and what we're looking at. But so I will say that the comparison is the thief of joy. Don't ever compare yourself. Don't look at somebody. This is advice that I need to take myself. Don't ever look to your left and to your right and think like, oh, I could be doing better. I should be doing better. Like, you're doing what you're doing, and what you're doing is enough. I will say organization. Organization is gonna be key. Keeping yourself organized, having a good note-taking app. This is all really important, because when I first started to come into PT school, I would use paper and I would try my best to like, I don't even know, like my study habits sucked. Like, I would literally try to look at things one time and be like, okay, that worked in undergrad. I want to say that your study habits are going to be way different than undergrad. You're going to be studying way more than you ever did in undergrad, so just get used to that. For me, in undergrad, I didn't really have to try much. I was kind of able to just get by, like, with doing the bare minimum, like turning in my assignments, showing up to class, passing my tests. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. And I really didn't feel like I struggled much in undergrad. So when I got to PT school, and I was struggling because I didn't have any study habits. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's okay. That is so okay. Like, you're gonna struggle. It's gonna be hard, but don't lose sight of the fact that you're literally somewhere you once prayed to be, and you are literally somewhere you could have only ever dreamt of being at one point. So don't discredit that. I will say, so I have my iPad and my little backpack. Look how cute she is. Ooh, she's heavy though. But it's just like a little Lululemon backpack. I love Lululemon, so it's very fitting that I got a Lululemon backpack. This is my iPad. It's the iPad Air, like the newest generation, whatever. I got it like last year. But so I will say, you're gonna need a case for your iPad that's gonna go like this. That way you're not flat on your desk. And I will say, getting a keyboard case for your iPad is definitely a game changer because you're going to be taking notes on your iPad. You're going to be doing stuff on your iPad. If you're like me, I hate pulling out my laptop. It's just that I have a superstition with my laptop anyway. But I hate pulling out my laptop, so I never ever want to do that. That is something that I try to avoid like the plague. But so this is my Notability app. There we go. You're gonna have your classes. If you're like me and you really need organization, I haven't gone back and like fixed the organization from the final exams. I literally closed my iPad the day of finals and said she's staying shut. She needed a break. So we gave her a much needed break. But I'll show you this past semesters. So right here, let me see. So like right here is where I have like the summer 2025, and you can open it. Then you have syllabus. Sorry, the glare is crazy. Then you have these little tabs, and that's where each of your syllabus will be or any like important information. This is my calendar. She keeps me organized. I will say I preferred this. I did both. I had a paper planner and I had this. I started off with the paper planner because it's obviously just like default mode. I felt like paper planners were the way to go. Until I realized it's a pain in the to fill them out. So I ditched the paper planner and I opted for this. I made it on Canva. It is just like, sorry, you're gonna see the light. It's just like, that was everything I had to get through. As you can tell, once it came to like July, once we got here and it got real, I just started, well, I kept looking at it obviously, but I just started to ignore it because I was like, well, we know what's due and we're right there. So I will say, find what works for you. Number one, find what works for you. I think that if you like paper, then try out paper. There are some of my classmates that have a notebook and paper and they do perfectly fine. That is perfect. I don't think I could manage that many papers. Or honestly, some people just use their laptops for notes. Couldn't be me. I don't know. Just find a good note-taking app if you're gonna use your iPad or like some sort of tablet. Like, find what works for you. For me, I like the organization of Notability, and if you guys want, I can go through and make a video on how I organize my iPad and how I set everything up with Notability so that it gives me a weekly breakdown of everything I needed, all of the content I had from the class for this week, or as opposed to like next week, whatever. If you guys want that, let me know. But another thing that I will say I wish I knew before starting PT school was you're gonna fail exams. You're going to, unless you're one of those students that's just like top of the class, straight A, never missed sleep over an exam, never really freaked out. Unless you're just really, really good at handling stress, there are going to be moments when you're going to do poorly on an exam, or you're just not going to get the best grade possible, or really what you thought you were going to get. And I want you to know that that's normal. It is normal to fail exams. It's normal to not get perfect grades. If you go back and you do the math, like, you're going to see that the one bad grade isn't going to make the biggest of difference. And it's just a learning experience. I think your first semester is definitely I don't even know. I can't even say like which one is the hardest, because the spring for me was the hardest, content-wise. The summer, I feel like it was hard, but it was in a different way. It was kind of like you're learning the ropes, you're figuring things out. It's scary. And then like the fall, I feel like the fall I was happy until the end. Getting in your groove is something that it's gonna take learning what works for you, like I said, because finding a study strategy that works for you is key. That is like the most important thing. So just know that failure is normal, okay? Like, please. If you take anything from this video, please know that failing is 110% normal. It's gonna happen. It's not the end of the world. Cry about it. Call your mom and dad. Tell them what happened. But don't think that just because you failed one test, you're not going to make a good PT. Don't think that, oh, I failed this one test, like I'm not going to even become a PT. Don't think that. You still have a world of ways to go. It's one test. It doesn't define you. You're going to be okay. And it's hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would be here. So think about that. Finding a study habit and a way that studying that works for you. Your first semesters, everyone's going to want to group study because they're going to be like, I just study better in a group. And group studying, if done right, can be very productive. But group studying can also kind of just be a pain in the butt and kind of keep you from making really any real progress. And I think you have to kind of acknowledge that you don't have a lot of time. So I'm not trying to discourage you from group studying. I'm trying to tell you that if you're going to group study, find a productive group. Do not be yapping. Do not be yapping. I love yapping. I'm the queen of yapping. I don't study in a group. I study with my 3 to 4 friends. 3. It's just 3. It actually isn't even 3, it's 2. I study with 2 people. And they sit on opposite sides of the room. We each do our own thing. And then we talk about it later. Maybe. Or we have yapping breaks in the middle. Find something that works for you. Find a balance. Like, okay, we're going to work for an hour and then 15 minutes yapping. I don't know. But build a schedule. Find habits. You can go to the gym, okay? Don't think that just because you're super busy, you can't go to the gym or you don't have time for like a 15-minute run outside. If you run a mile, that should take you like 10 to 15 minutes. Go outside. Or you can go for a walk. I like to study and walk. It's what works for me. But you're going to need outlets and like ways to deal with stress. You're definitely going to need to find ways to deal with stress because school's hard. It's a lot. You're going to have a lot of things coming at you at once. So just find ways to deal with your stress. Find ways to just deal with those things and make yourself feel better inside. Whether that be like yoga, talking with friends, getting caught, I don't know. Like find something that's going to de-stress you. Get sleep. Actually, if there's anything I have learned and any note that you take, please don't be like Natalie. Get sleep. I don't get sleep. I have never gotten sleep my whole life though. Excuse me. I've never gotten sleep my whole life though, so it's kind of like normal to me to not sleep. But I will say, if you're going to not get sleep, just know that you're going to pay the price at some point. It is a lot. And I will say that there have been nights where I've gotten less sleep and it ended up paying off, but there has never been a night where I've purposely not gone to sleep. I do think that no matter what, there is always time for sleeping. There are classmates of mine that have pulled all-nighters and like swear by it. I don't swear by it. I condone sleeping. So I just think get your sleep. Don't pull all-nighters if you absolutely don't have to. Like if you're the night before the exam and you haven't looked at half of the content, then okay, don't get sleep. But if there's any way you can get like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4, I would say that because something is better than nothing. So get your sleep and get your exercise, 2 big ones that I'm working on myself. I will also say, remember, comparison is the thief of joy. We already talked about this. And really, if you're a believer and you have faith, I want you to really lean in on your faith. Something that has been big for me this whole entire journey is finding people that I can feel supported by and I can go to and I can cry and say like, oh, this is going so bad, I'm so sorry, like I don't know what's going on, like I have this going on in my life and then I'm trying to study for this test, I'm trying to do this. And just having people that can speak life into you and can pray for you and pray over you, and you praying for your dream and your goal is very important also, because at the end of the day, like, God is going to put you where God feels right, and you wouldn't be here if God didn't deem you fit. So just trust in that at the end of the day. Trust that like He has a plan and it's all going to work out for the better. And say a prayer before every quiz and exam, because that's what I do. In a lot of ways, it makes me feel less stressed. It calms me. I also like weekly go to the church and like say a prayer, like get down on my knees and like, God, help a girl out. But that's just something that like makes me feel better. It's like a way of like releasing my stress and like putting it in His hands. Like, here you go. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what I'm doing, but you want me here apparently, so I'm here. I think it's important finding a good support group. Like finding a good group of friends within PT school that are going to support you, that are going to like build you up, that you can tell your failures to. Because if you're telling your friend like, I failed my exam today, and they're telling you like, oh well, I got 100 and too bad for you, like you just failed, haha. I don't know, like they're not being supportive of you and they're not like helping you in any way. I definitely think that you found the wrong friends. Your friends should never be envious of you. Your friends should never, you should never feel like, oh, I told my friend this and they weren't happy for me. Like, your friends should clap. Like, if you're doing good, your friends should be like, yes, like that's my bestie. They shouldn't be like, anyway, just important finding like the group that works for you and finding the people that work for you. I'm not saying that you can only talk to those people in that group, but just finding the people that you can lean on, that you trust with your life, and you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets to, or your deepest, darkest, worst exam grades to. I feel like that's something that I've learned over the years of school. The last like 2 years of school is just like, not everyone's your cheerleader, not everyone's a listening ear, and that's okay. That really is. But you're gonna have your 5 solid friends. You can have more than that. Like, this is just an example. You're gonna have your group of friends that you feel comfy with, that you can share your experiences with, and you can kind of go to them and ask them, how do I do this? Or maybe if they're doing really good in one class, like you can help them in that class, or vice versa. Like, you really don't know. So I think it's important that you just lean on a good group of friends and support each other. I think that goes a long way. Yeah, I think finding a good friend group and making good friends is really, really important. Because also, you're gonna want to have someone to hang out with, because the only ones who really understand what you're going through is you. You're gonna lose friends from the outside world because they're not gonna understand why you're always with your iPad. Not to say that you're gonna go get an iPad, but like for me, it's like they're not gonna understand why you're always studying. They're not gonna understand why you used to be available every Thursday night to go to the bar, but now you're not. And they're not going to understand why they used to be able to call you at any hour of the day and you would answer, and well, now you cannot, because that's just not how it works anymore. And I think that it's important that you kind of just acknowledge that and just realize that the people that are going to support you are going to support you no matter what. They're going to be there for you no matter what, and the real world will be there when you're done. This is definitely something that I have struggled with a lot. It's that like, I look at what everyone else gets to do while they're out of school, and they're all outside having fun, going like to the bar, going to concerts, going out of town, going out of the country. Like, they're all having a good time, and I'm just stuck at school, and it it is, comparison is the thief of joy. Again, it is hard, I will say, like, to just, I don't know, like, it's just hard to wake up and, like, everyone else is doing something else and you're there at school. So I will say, just kind of get used to that. I know my old boss used to tell me, you're gonna miss out on a lot, and I would kind of like, no, I'm not. But now I see it, like little things that, like, you wish you had more time to celebrate and you don't, so you give it, like, the attention that you can. But it's always important. Everything can be done in moderation. There have been days when me and my friends were getting absolutely smacked in the butts by school, but we were still out at the pool party that weekend or out celebrating somebody's birthday. Like, it can be done. It just, in moderation and with proper planning, with proper, like, attention to detail and everything else. It's gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. You're gonna find hobbies. You're gonna find things to do. If you're like anything like me, you're gonna do a lot of crying, but it's gonna be okay. I think it's just important for you to acknowledge that this phase of your life is just that. It's just a phase of your life. It's 3 years or 2.5 or 3.5, depending on what kind of school you go to. And at the end of it, the reward is greater than anything that you've been through thus far. So I think just keep your head held high, walk into those tests like, I can do this, and try to remind yourself why you're here. At the end of the day, I always have to remind myself my why. I have to take a step back and tell myself, this is what you came here to do and this is why. And it's hard. There are going to be days when you're not going to want to wake up for class, which has happened to me more times than not. There are going to be days when you accidentally don't wake up for class. Not speaking from experience at all. But I think it's just important that you acknowledge the good and the bad. Like, you're going to be okay. And I think that that's something that is very important, is just acknowledging, like, you're gonna be okay. Just take it one step at a time. Everything is fine. You're gonna be fine. I don't know how every program works, but I know at the program that I go to, you get an underclass, or like you get a big and a little. The big is somebody that's a year older than you, and then you're obviously the little. So having a good mentor is important. If you don't, like, talk to yours ever, if you don't talk to yours, that's fine. You can go find another one. Like, I always jokingly say that I have like 4 littles because I adopted a few, but not actually. Like, if anyone needs help, like, I'm always willing to help, is what I'm saying. So, like, just find somebody that you can entrust and, like, that'll guide you, and kind of just, okay, like, this is what you're going to be doing. This is what you can expect for this, or, like, this is what you can expect here. Or have them, like, just guide you. Or ask them for notes or anything, really. Like, I genuinely think if you have a good support system, and if you have somebody that is, like, a good mentor and can kind of coach you through all of this, you're going to be better off. Without further ado, that was my first YouTube video. This is crazy. This is actually something that I've dreamt of doing my actual entire life. So the fact that I'm sitting in front of a camera recording a video right now is absurd to me, and I just feel an immense amount of gratitude in my heart for the opportunity and ability to do this. I don't really know how far this is gonna go, or like what's gonna happen, but I'm really excited, and I have a lot of ideas for videos that I want to make, and like directions I want to take this in. But I really hate talking, and I'm the most shy individual in person, so for me to be doing this is a really big step out of my comfort zone. I'm so excited and so proud of myself, and I cannot wait to see where this journey takes us. Without further ado, thank you so much for watching this video. I am so grateful to be starting this journey, and I look forward to everything that it comes with, and I will be seeing you all in my next one. I actually don't know what we're filming next, so maybe another sit down, like get to know me video. I don't know, maybe a day in my life. Who knows? The possibilities are literally endless, so so excited. But yeah, just like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at 01natalie_. Follow me on TikTok at 01natalie_. I'll see you guys later.